Hello and welcome to the Naked Nutrition, the Naked Academy from Powerful Nutrition Academy. So today's task is we're going to be going over Module 1, the basics of fat loss and nutrition. As we go through this module, I want you to take notes and keep a lookout of all the different infographics that will be popping up and coming across. So the basics of fat loss and the reasons why. So as we go through, we're going to go into the agenda, and it's going to be the key terms and definitions, the reasons behind everything, and why we're going to be looking into fat loss journeys. The fat loss hierarchy, that's going to be the key factors of the adherent of what we're going to be looking at achieving. And then going into the hierarchy of the fat loss, into adherence, the rules and regulations what you need to go into, the energy balance of the food quantity, and going into those different things. Naked foods versus processed foods, and meal timings and frequency. This will be key to your goals. And then finally supplements. So definitions going through: healthy eating, food intake that promotes the correct and optimal operation of structures and systems in the body. So we're going to be looking at a hell of a lot of detail in with that. Going forward then, so it balances everything all out. Looking at what foods to get the optimal operation within our body systems, the foods that we should and shouldn't eat, and going forward into that is the current situation of the intake and habits of an individual. So going down into key factors, when people hear the word diet, I can't do this, I can't do that as I'm on a diet. Basically, it's just relevance to the food that you put in your mouths, and that forms of habits. We're then going to break it down into macronutrients. A lot of things you don't need to worry about too much, as it's going to be mind-boggling, but basically it's going to be the fats, the protein, carbohydrates that basically provide the body with its energy, and we'll go into that into a lot more detail so you got a full understanding on how macronutrients and how they work into that. And then the breakdown, basically the macronutrients of vitamins and minerals that unlock the stored energy within the macronutrients. So when it's broken down, we'll go into an awful lot of different elements and the backgrounds and how they're all structured and built up. Okay, so we go into the fat loss hierarchy. The hierarchy, we mentioned about supplements, that should be at the top of the pyramid. These are really not essentials. There's plenty of things out there, and they're the last things that we should really be looking into. They're just there to help and support our current situation, getting there. There's various different things you'll learn more. This is just a quick in-depth little look at a little pyramid. Into nutrient timing, this is as you progress going through, this is going to be key factors on sustainable weight loss journeys or increasing your energy stores as time goes on. The macronutrients, breaking it all down, how it all breaks down within our body, talking over, getting through all our little ins and outs, so you get a better understanding on how fats, proteins, carbohydrates all break down within our body, the values of them all, and going into that. We're then going to go into energy balance. So as it's going down, the more it goes down, we need to get the fundamental basics going right first. So the bigger the part of the pyramid, the foundation is what we need to be working on. So the energy balance, the food's coming in versus our energy getting putting out. So basically the weight loss journey, if we eat less but we get more macronutrients going through, our calories are going to be lower, which then succeeds to our weight loss. Then finally, the adherence going through is we need to make sure that we adhere to our systems that we're putting in place and going through this academy, and then obviously as it goes through we get a fundamental basis of our adherence, our strict regimes. It's not that strict, but as long as you live your life. Adherence, going back into it again, as long as we form a lot of habits and we stick to them, you're going to be on a sure win to get the results that you're after. So then that takes on to the best diet in the world is the one that you can stick to. Okay, so basically that's the adherence. So as long as you can remain going through that the rest of your life, it'll be perfect. So food quality ultimately comes down to energy in versus energy out. But it's not always the case as we break down our macronutrients as it goes through. Its meaning by is the body has to be expending more energy than it's consuming for the weight loss. Energy is measured in calories. Calorie deficit equals weight loss. Calorie surplus equals weight gain. So basically, if you consume less calories and you expend more, you're going to be into a fat loss. If you consume more calories and you're sat down, you're going to be gaining weight. So common objections. But it isn't that simple. Accurately measure energy in versus energy out. Quite simply, by tracking our steps, by tracking our nutrition, and seeing what we can get in and out, we consume over time, see how it goes. That's why I've got you set up to MyFitnessPal. The body isn't a machine, it adapts to its environment. Quite simply, if you put shit fuel sources in, it's going to be developing, it's going to be really sluggish, really done. So if you put the optimal foods in, it's going to be a better system for it to work in. So it'll adapt to its own environment of where it's at. So if shit's going in, shit will be coming out. If you put nutrition foods in and all fueled right, it'll then drive like it should do. And then it takes us on to what does this mean in real life, e.g. hormones, cravings, exhaustion, utilisation, etc, etc. Basically our energy balances all have a different background depending on if we're female, male, how we look at food, how we utilise it all into different aspects of our lives, and that's what we're going to be looking at doing. So, takes us on to food quality. Food containing the same amount of energy, e.g. calories, will have different effect on the body. Quite simply, if we eat our favourite ice cream, no mention any brands or anything else like that, but if we eat a big tub of our favourite ice cream brand, compared to 4 or 5 chicken breasts, it could be quite easily, the food can contain the same amount of calories. So a tub of ice cream is about 800 calories, and 4 chicken breasts are around about the same. You can quite easily eat that tub of ice cream in one sitting, whereas if you were trying to eat 4 chicken breasts, it'll be quite difficult in that element. So it's the food quality. They can both contain the same amount of calories, but it's how we adhere to it and the neutral values of what we're trying to achieve. We must consume better quality foods 80% of the time. Basically, during that stage, I'll call it naked foods. It's the clean foods. It's the foods that we know and love that we should be eating. If we adhere to that 80% of the time, the other parts are going to be adhered to, and we can fit other things in. The goal is to replace high calorific food with low nutrient dense food with lower calories, more nutrition and dense alternatives. So, for argument's sake, if it's a non-training day, but you're doing something like a chili con carne with rice, normally, if you supplement that rice for cauliflower rice, you've taken that carbohydrate base, a high dense food, being the rice, you've replaced it with cauliflower rice, which is going to be half a amount of calories. It's water based, so you're going to have a fantastic burn onto that. Which takes us on to meal timings and frequency. Timings of when we eat is pretty key to your success in your weight loss, which I mentioned before. The time of the day when you eat our meals, consume certain nutrients, basically breaking down different things. A lot of people tendency to skip breakfast as they try and do that, and different various things. They, Carbohydrates and energy training, which we all know about, and frequency. How often should we eat our meals? If you're eating 3 meals a day, maybe you want to try and eat up that to 4 smaller ones, maybe 5. If you're only eating 2, break that down and try and get a few more meals in during the day, so try and aim for that 3 to 4. Just so our energy levels remain constant at all times, so you're not going to flag, and then it's going to ultimately help us at our end goal. Being able to stop that cravings for picking that sweet food or different things. Which takes us on to supplementation. Basically, it's the icing on the cake. It can come in a pill, powder, or liquid form. It's specific to the individual, depending on their personal goals and various different things. But as I said before, supplementation is the only big thing. There's some big red flags though when it comes to supplementation. If it's been promoted for designed to replace real food, or if it's been a pyramid scheme, if it's been designed to replace real food, it should be then big red herring. So you shouldn't be like Huel. They have a whole meal prep thing to go and do to try and skip a meal, slim fast, etc. And if it has a heavy sales pitch behind it, then realistically it shouldn't. Stay well clear from it. Just basically because if it's things like the pyramid schemes out there, Juice Plus or whatever else, they're designed basically to give you a calorie deficit, but it's not been tested, it's not been anything else. If it's trying to get you away from eating real food, stay away from it. Does it focus on a nasty change? So basically, if it's been packaged on the product, a woman or a guy flexing with shredded abs and different things like that, if it's been promoted like that, stay away. Stay away. It's just solely there purely to get there, and is the cost prohibiting you from eating real food? If you've got to go and buy a supplement that's stopping you eating real food, the naked foods, then you shouldn't be going down that route. Alright? The only one time that I would recommend a supplementation is if you are not hitting your protein levels, where I would possibly recommend having a protein shake. Type that up. So what's next? Increasing your adherence, creating a sustainable lifestyle. So basically, what we're going to be looking at doing is fundamentally starting from scratch. Anything that you've been taught, anything you've been done before, I'll be looking at trying to rekindle all that kind of stuff. As I said, this program is a 12-week program. Just go back to the beginning. This program is a 12-week program, and